Denny O'Neil. Denny was a great hero of mine for a long time. Still is in a lot of ways, but we were very, very close during the early '80s. We had a falling out over work. Maybe you shouldn't ever become friends with the people you work with, or vice versa. Maybe you shouldn't work with the people you're friends with. I don't know. But it's a shame what happened to us. I had not spoken to him for a long time. I saw him again at a convention in 2018, a year or so before his death, and I was glad to have reconnected with him.
Right.
There's a very funny story, which should not go, which only one or two other people have heard, which I will relate here. Took place back in like 1980. He was working at Marvel as an editor. They had just killed, I think they had just killed Phoenix in the X-Men. So Chris Claremont had just killed Phoenix in the X-Men. Chris had gotten a lot of acclaim for this. The story was very popular. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people thought, one person sent Chris a death threat. And Chris was kind of dining out on this. Chris really liked the idea that he'd gotten a death threat, and he was nosing it around a lot and showing it to people. And Denny thought maybe Chris was getting a little too much fun out of this. So one Friday, I was down at Marvel, and Denny and I were going to go out to dinner, and we were leaving the offices, and ahead of us by a few yards were Chris Claremont and Ralph Macchio. And they're obviously also going out to dinner somewhere. So Denny, for the only time in my relationship with him, gets a whimsical grin on his face, hands me his shoulder bag and says, "Watch this." So Denny gets very quickly, sneaks behind Chris and Ralph, very quietly, throws his hands over his head, runs at them as loud as he can, and shrieks at the top of his voice, "You killed Phoenix." Chris turns white, turns, with as like he's looking death in the face. He's a man who expects death to strike him any minute. Ralph is about 15 feet away by this time. And then Chris realizes what has happened, gets his composure, and laughs, and we all enjoy a hearty laugh in this. And then they go their separate ways, and Denny and I go separate ways. And I don't remember the next 15 minutes because I'm laughing too hard.